I was interested in what kind of background there was in each case, and I found that that the parental identity corresponds to the identity in other fields, so that the person's identity concerning work or politics and so on, it was very much related to parental identity. If someone was in diffusion in other areas, it tended to happen also in parental identity. It's a diffusion. Then I found that foreclosure identity developed in conditions where, which were stable, when there were good relationships between parents at home. And it is a good basis for taking models for one's own behavior. Moratorium is a temporary state. It doesn't last long, and it tends to lead to identity achievement. And identity achievement, which is the most mature identity of parenthood. There were two kinds of backgrounds. And one was that the person had developed this constructive behavior and a resilient style of life, and was very responsible and carefully considered various information available and so on. But there was completely different route also to identity achievement, and it was that the person had lived in difficulties. When the parent was extremely punitive, abusive, alcoholic, something, then the child may develop contra ideas. The child may decide, I'm not going to do it this way. I want to do it differently. I want to develop myself in this. And we have both of them. And it is a wonderful indication of that. We are not just things that are pushed forward by some forces behind our back, but we have our own brain, and we can develop our own way of thinking, our own ideas, and do better than what we have seen has been done. Be critical also critical of the existing conditions. Now, we live in social ecology. There's microsystems, that's family. The mesosystem, like school and daycare system. Ecosystem, like parental work. The microsystems, such as legislation, government, all those things. So the family is just a small system in the whole, but it is a very important system. Michael Mathers, from Secretary General from the Alliance for Childhood, has described this nicely. He has listed age categories. They start from periods of 3 years before birth, pregnancy and birth and so on, up to old age. And there are different systems where people are involved. And he writes it well. I try to find it. He says that in each box there are many persons and organizations active that have an impact on the family. They all have their own image of the family, their own objectives and activities, and there is nobody who commands an overview of the whole. So really, the family has to cope with many different kinds of situations. And in our countries here, in Nordic countries, we have many kinds of social services available to support families. But there's a question, may social services cause harm to parenting? Is it also possible that they cause harm to parenting? And there are some possibilities that the systems that were meant to help families, they are not necessarily helpful. One is that the services are fragmented. There's a mother clinic, there's a child clinic, there's no integration between them, and in many other services the same. The services function as very independent, and every service tries to offer a piece of something to the family, but it's not coordinated. There are problems in legislation, of course. There is the economy of bigness. We have big daycare groups, big school size. We speak too little about the quality of daycare, too little about the quality of school. We just save money and try to conduct these activities very effectively in economic sense. There's a strong work orientation in these countries. There's a strong orientation to entertainment. Screen hours are too high, and it's out from the family communication. There's also externalization of parenthood. In Finland, it's possible for a girl who is 13 years old to go to a health center and see a doctor and have an abortion without telling the parents, because a 13-year-old is mature enough to make this kind of decision. So parental role is externalized, and I think in Sweden, what I've heard, parental role is externalized now to daycare centers also at a very early age. So what is the parent's role? There's lack of early support for families which are in crisis. And there is this adult-centeredness in society, which is very unfortunate. And we can see it in many respects. So it's important for an adult to gain pension 40 years later. It's more important than to take care of the child at present time. So these kinds of thinking. So before I finish, I just want to say something what I've tried to do in Finland. It was a 3-year experiment, and I wanted to help parents to or families to cope with the problem that children's school hours are much shorter than parental working hours, and children are at home alone without adults, without any supervision. Some children 30 hours per week if the parents have bad work shifts. And in Sweden you have had the afternoon homes to help in these problems, but we haven't had them. And therefore I made an experiment in 7 schools in Finland. And what we found when we offered afternoon activities on the school basis for children, we found that social anxiety and depressive symptoms were reduced. So this blue line shows experimental group where we didn't offer afternoon activities, and this other parts show. Experimental group is blue color. It was lower there than in the comparison group, where we didn't offer it. And we also found that that working skills, which means persistence, concentration, they improved. Also social skills improved if there were music clubs, arts and handicrafts clubs available for children. So these experiments for 3 years, showed that children need supervision, they benefit from it, but it doesn't mean that the parenthood was externalized. So we didn't want to reduce the parents' time with children. In fact, we increased it because now kids go to hobbies in the evening. Parents drive them to their hobbies, and there's very little time for their families. But if kids had these hobby clubs in the afternoon, then it gave more time for the families to be together in the evening. And that was what the parents reported when the final data were collected. So my last slide describes some of my ideas concerning services and interventions to support parenting. I think it's extremely important to discuss ethical boundaries. Interventions with families may also be harmful, and when they are harmful, they may be harmful when the family is labeled as belonging to a certain kind of group. It may be harmful when the parents feel that their role is taken over by somebody else. And they may be harmful if there are some, let's say, political programs or other programs that are that dominate the interventions. So it's independence of the parents is violated. Image of the family, that's very important to discuss. We should always remember that good life demands that there is freedom from any form of discrimination. We should need the needs of the family, the real needs of the family, for instance in crisis situations, and try to offer the help in those cases. We should see the resources of a family, how to help the family to grow from its own basis, utilize the resources that the family has. All that is culminated in the goal to empower the family, not control over the family, but empower the family. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Liia Pulkkinen. It's 12 o'clock now, so we will have questions.